So here we go for the next round of the Go-Kart Championship. The penultimate round of the 2018 season comes from Brooklands once again. Now you'd have seen from the opening part of this video, I was invited back to do a bit of filming for them. So this is a round of myself, John and my dad. Unfortunately no one else can make it. Believe me, I did ask everyone multiple times to try and make it, but unfortunately no one else could. So it's going to be interesting 3 races here today. The opening race starts with John on pole position as a reverse order of the standings. So John is in 3rd place in the standings, so he takes pole. My dad's in 2nd, I'm in 1st. It works out quite well, and as we go through the first couple of corners, John's taken the lead, or stayed in the lead, and I've gone up to 2nd place, getting the inside line to the first corner, and my dad has dropped down to last position here after not getting the greatest start in the world. Now John, going through the last couple of corners here at Brooklands, nice and tidy stuff from him here. He hasn't won a race since 2016. It's been a very long time since John last won a race, and he's going to really be looking to try and take that up today. So through the long switch back, he's keeping his cool here. These ultra short races here, they'll be scored the same as normal races, but I definitely need to look into that for next season, because we can't be having races this short be scored the same as other races. I think that is a little bit unfair, but we'll have to keep with the rules I've set for this season, and going forward I might have to look into adjusting the point scoring for this race, because 3-minute races in comparison to 15-minute races shouldn't be scoring the same. But I'm going to have to work that out when the season is done. It'd be unfair to change it in the middle, but nonetheless I'm closing right up behind John here. I feel like I've got decent pace. We did a bit of a practice session before we started this first race here. I was happy with my pace, and I was like, okay, I think I can go for a victory here. But with such short races, it's sometimes hard to look for an overtake here and be able to think about it and then do it all within a couple of laps here, because it's, what, 6-lap races I think they are. And, well, they go very quickly, as you can assume. It's a very short lap here, but a very fun little track here. One that definitely takes a lot of skill at, because you're constantly turning it. You know, as much running as we did this weekend, it definitely does start to ache your whole body after a couple of laps here. So we're into the last minute. John's flying around here. It's basically all a line here. The pace is very close between all 3 drivers here this race weekend, which is really good. And it looks like we're going to be the 3 going for the championship into the last round at Filtering Manor as well. Unfortunately for Tom, he'd missed 3 rounds this season, which is really unfortunate. And looking into 2019, he's going to be able to attend all the rounds. Hopefully I'm going to schedule it with him and make sure he can attend every round, because I understand him and I are really close in terms of the championship battle normally, and it's obviously sad that he's sort of been let down in terms of the scheduling and in terms of him not being able to make all of the rounds. So we'll see for next season. Hopefully it'll be a close championship next year, but this is the last lap of this race here, and we're catching up to John here. Are we going to be able to go and overtake? Last lap of this race is for 15 points. 2nd place gets you 12, and 3rd place gets you 10 here. These races have been pretty intense. Are we going to be able to grab the extra 3 points that the win gets you through the last couple of corners? John's made it nice and smoothly up to the start-finish line, and John has won his first race in over 2 years. So fantastic job there from John. He did a great job from pole position, kept his cool, and I think deservingly got the 15 points. I finished 2nd place. 3rd place goes to my dad, and John led the most laps today, and that's going to be how the extra 5 points are scored, because we aren't going to be timing, and we aren't going to be going for a pole position as well, so we won't have a fast lap or a pole position time. So the extra 5 points are going to go to the person who led the most laps over the race weekend. So ready to go for the second race of the day. I get another good start from 3rd place on the grid. I was put in 3rd place for every single grid, which obviously a bit disappointing, but I kind of said that I'll start last for all the races to try and make it a little bit more fair, considering I am leading the championship. So from 3rd to 2nd in the opening lap of the race, again, not too shabby whatsoever. Now through the last couple of corners, I'm trying to catch up to my dad here and trying to get past him and get a race victory here today, because I did also have in the back of my mind that my dad and John are having a really close battle for the championship, so I didn't want to affect their championship battle too much between them here, because it's very close for 2nd place in the championship between them here, and this is a very deciding round. I mean, my dad takes a overall points advantage over John in this round. He will go out into the last round at Filtering Manor with a really big lead, but I've gone past him for the lead this race, and down to the first corner. My dad's faster down the straight. That's something I definitely noticed throughout this. My dad's doing a good job. John's going to look to the inside here. You can't quite make a move down the inside of my dad, neither the outside. It's all sort of bottled up here as I've taken a bit of a defensive line, and it's held everybody up here. So not that long to go in this race here. I think 2 or 3 laps to go in this one, so this could be really intriguing to see here what happens between these 3 very close karts out on track here, and I think all the drivers are very close as well. And through the long switch back, Once again, it's very, very close. No one's really gaining any time through here. My dad's is definitely, I think, the quickest driver right now. I suppose it's hard for John in third place to really show his true speed on last place on the road here, but it's going to be interesting to see here. I think this is the penultimate lap of this race. Is my dad going to be able to go and overtake here and get another race victory for help him out in his championship battle for second place? And he's done a good line here. He's going to go all the way around the outside for me. Oh, I can't believe it. I just couldn't steer. It's really embarrassing looking at it like that, but I just couldn't steer through that corner. I was on full lock. My dad just drove simply right around the outside of me. It looks like I'm not even trying, but believe me, I was absolutely fuming. I thought I had to slow it down enough to get around the corner, but I guess it was such a tight angle to get around the corner, I just couldn't do it. And I've struggled in the second race here. I got past, and then, I kind of just made a bit of a mess of it. I was defending too hard. I don't know, big mistakes, and there's the checker flag. My dad wins. Second place goes to myself. Third place goes to John. And the most laps led in that race was my dad. So he's going to be looking close to get those extra 5 points from John. So it's really between John and my dad now in terms of who's going to lead the most laps in the 3 races here today to get the extra 5 bonus points. And of course, they're in a close championship battle, so those 5 extra bonus points are really going to be helpful for whoever gets them. So, last race of the day. As you can see, they're short and snappy, these ones, but they're quite exciting. So, last race of the day. My dad starts on pole, John starts in second, and I once again start in third place here. So, ready to start the last race of the day. And go! Away we go. My dad gets a pretty bad start here. John's going to look to go all the way around the outside here on the reverse track. And is he going to get to get it done? No, there isn't. There's a bit of contact through the first corner as John doesn't take the optimal line, but John's looking down the inside. Fantastic move there from John. Really good overtake to get down the inside of my dad there and really capitalise on my dad making a slight mistake and going wide. And, well, fantastic move there from John. And he's moved himself into the lead of this race. This is vital for his championship position hopes. He's probably unlikely he's going to win the championship. I would have built up quite a big lead by the end of this round. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with my dad, and John. And I'm going side by side with my dad. My dad's messed up his line. I'm going to do the switchback down the inside. Close stuff, and I get the move done down the inside. I personally definitely prefer the reversed layout of this track, which kind of feels shorter to me. And I feel it feels a little bit faster as well. I personally enjoy the reverse layout a bit more. You can see I've already set my task on trying to close down John here because I feel I can win this race. I feel like more likely this race than the other ones I can win this race. For some reason I gel a bit more with this reverse layout than, well, both my dad and John, but just really in terms of this layout in comparison to the normal layout, I definitely seem to gel better with the reverse layout of the track here. And I'm hitting all of the apex as well. My dad is starting to lose a bit of time here, and he's put a bit too much acceleration on through there, and he's gone a bit sideways and lost a few more seconds there. That's not what he needs, so maybe third place is the best he's going to get in this race here, which is going to be big for John. So I think this is going on to the penultimate lap of this race here. I'm trying to put the pressure on John. It's not quite worked out here. I'm not quite close enough to go for an overtake here. I'm trying to take the wide line and get the better line through the corner, but it's not quite worked out here. I'm going to go a bit tighter through the corner, but once again, John is just a little bit better. My dad goes a bit wide and hits the camera on the outside of the track. I did wonder until looking at this footage what happened there as the camera was knocked off, but it was actually my dad running a bit wide, so I'll blame him for that one. Luckily the camera wasn't damaged. But last lap of this race, last of 3 this weekend. Can I get the most out of this one and get a race victory around the last couple of corners here? It's not going to quite be enough, is it? I've got a better run through the corner, but I think John's going to take 2 out of 3 this weekend here at Brooklands. Fantastic job there from John. Very good from him. 2 out of 3 this weekend, and that's 2 victories in one weekend when he hadn't won any of the last 20 or 30 races. It's been a long time. So there's the race results. John won again. Good job from him this weekend. I finished second in every single race. My dad finished in third. Most laps led in that one, of course, was John. He led every single lap. And overall, the points for round number 7, John got 45 points for his 2 wins plus a third, and points for the most laps led. I got 36 points for finishing second place in every single race, and my dad finished with 35 points for the weekend after a first and 2/3. So this is how the standings looks after a really entertaining round at Brooklands. I kind of ruined my win record a little bit here this season with 3 second places in a row, but I take it with a 72-point lead, which does mean I am now the champion of the 2018 season, which I'm very happy with. I've had some fantastic battles this season. All 3 races there at Brooklands were fantastic. I had some great battles with Tom throughout the whole season as well. I did feel a little bit sorry that he couldn't have attended all the rounds, because really he was a great championship contender throughout. And my dad and John are now separated by just 7 points going to the last 3 races at Filching Manor, which have a total maximum points haul of 50. So it could all go on there. And unfortunately, mathematically, Tom can only finish a best of 4th now. And I think back from there's been some interesting battles. George is definitely going to be attending. Tom and Will are. So some interesting things are going to be happening in the last round of the season in Filching Manor. I highly recommend you tune in then, because as the championship's wrapped up, I can sort of go all out here to try and get some victories. I was playing a bit more cautious at earlier stages on in the season, where I maybe could have gone for victories and didn't, but now I feel like I can go and hopefully get a race victory or 2. I felt a little bit hard done by in the last Filching Manor round, where I had a kart problem in one race and then getting taken out big time in the other, so I feel like I should hopefully get a nice race win this next time in Filching Manor. I mean, I did last time, but that was in the reverse grid race, so it doesn't mean quite as much to me. So let's go for a feature race victory in Filching Manor, and I'm really interested to see what happens. 7 points between my dad and John. They've been close all the season. Both myself, my dad and John have attended every single round. So for the fact that it's going to be close between those two does mean a lot, actually. It means on genuine pace, it's come down to the last round, which is fantastic. So that's enough rambling from me. Thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you did have a fantastic time watching the vid. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys all around soon. It's been Axmade. Goodbye.